Welcome everyone. Thanks for coming, and thanks for joining me here to talk about, our architecture and how we can architect software on the Salesforce platform, and specifically how we can use the new tool that Salesforce has given us with platform events from last year. My name is Florian Höhn. I work for Mavens. I've been working on Salesforce since end 2008, start 2009, so quite a long time. And as I have, developed and really taken on bigger roles, Salesforce and the Salesforce platform has as well. So if you remember back then, or whenever you started maybe as well, Salesforce was a CRM system. Now it really is an enterprise level platform. And you can see that in the tools that Salesforce has provided us. And so my first project was a web-to-lead project. Yeah, I guess lots of you have created web-to-lead forms in one way or the other. And so this is kind of what I remember from my first project that I did on Salesforce.com. And this is the architecture of it. Yeah, so it was a web-to-lead. Lead came in. We assign it depending on the locality. We would do more things or not. And then we would create the opportunity and account, hopefully. And so, the companies have adopted Salesforce more and more. So that it was not only this lead capturing, lead capturing system, but it got more. So you would, for example, put your order management onto Salesforce as well, and add to your CRM system with that. And then the architecture got a little bit bigger. You can create orders now. You have two different ways that the lead stream in. You have like your shop, and you have the web-to-lead form that's still there. And so the architecture gets more complicated, and it gets a little bit more difficult to know everything. In this scenario, of course, you can still know everything. But here, we're adding, we're adding a couple of integrations. We're adding a master data management system. We're adding a shipping system that, gets the send this order out. We are also adding a payment system that we know this order has been paid or hasn't been paid or is delayed and so on. And so, we add complexity not only to our software, but also to our software architecture. And then if we add a product catalog, we add more complexity. And the issue with that is that's just not scalable. Yeah, so if we add complexity to our software, if we add functionality because our business needs more functionality, needs to use the platform in different ways, then we shouldn't add complexity to our architecture. Really. But we didn't really have the tools, to really have a clean architecture that can grow with all the applications and all the functionality that our businesses need. So how can platform events help us with this? So platform events provide this already known architecture, which, if you have developed on other platforms, on other systems, languages, which is there and was there, which is the event-driven architecture. And this is just showing the event-driven architecture. You have event producers, which are just systems that put events on the event bus. In Salesforce, we'll call this publishing. And then you have the consumers, which consume the events from the event bus, and in Salesforce we call that subscribing. Yeah, and the event bus has an ordered list, an ordered queue of events. That's basically it, and that enables us to do a couple of things. So in Apex or on the Force.com platform, we can publish events in a couple of ways. Everything that you would you would expect that you're able to do, you can do. So you can use it declaratively from processes or flows, but you can also do it in Apex and via the API. So you can really create the platform events from, from whatever system you have, external, internal. So yeah, can we consume those from all these systems as well? Yes, we can. And is there any new technology really that's coming in? Not really, because publishing via the API, we've done this before. We've created S objects via the API. we've done that. And then here, the probably most complex one, the COMET-D usage via the API as well, is we have used that for streaming APIs. So, like we're relatively familiar with it. And so there's actually, from the usage of platform events, there's no new technology there. We just need to rethink how we structure our architecture and how we structure our systems so that we can make the best out of the tool that we have been giving. And so let's try to look at this architecture we had before here that has grown over a while, and try to take, like one module and kind of use platform events to, to separate, separate that module from everything else, so that we strip it out of our system architecture. And so I've chosen here the order management module. So let's look at it again in a little bit more context, and we'll just have a clean architecture, and this is our architecture for the order management module. Yeah. So if I'm the order management module guy, this is what I need to know. I don't need to know about web-to-lead stuff coming in. I don't need to know about any other record types. I don't need to know, what happens when the order gets created. I just want to, stream the order in, convert the lead automatically, and create the order. Yeah. So that's basically all I need to know and I want to know. And so how can we do that? We, just take that part of our architecture. We call it the order management module. Done. And the result of it is creating an order. So we create, or we publish a create order event. And this create order event goes on the event bus. And now the good thing is we don't really care who subscribes to that event. We have created the order. We're done. Our module is done. We don't need the dependency knowing, oh, now the API does stuff, like the shipping system has to do stuff, the reporting tool has to do stuff. We don't need to know. Yeah, so there are no dependencies. And that's, I think, basically the core of, the message is there are no dependencies for your module to other modules. So you enable a lot of different things, and you enable really, kind of knowledge sharing in the way that somebody can learn this order management module in a week. Every one of you. Yeah, I would sit down and say, here, this is the order management module. Can you do this bug fix? And afterwards, you're the expert for the order management module, because it's that simple. And so what are the main use cases for platform events? I think the main one that usually gets thrown out there, and this will be or is the way that we are using it first, and that we are using it the most, I think, at this moment, is for integrations. Yeah. So we create this order, we publish this create order event. It goes on the event bus, and then we have, in this example, our shipping app, which is on Heroku, and our consumer application, which let's say is an iOS app, which both subscribe to the event. So when that event gets fired, they subscribe, and the iOS developer does not need to know anything about Salesforce, does not need to know anything about, what is going on in Salesforce, how that order gets created, and all they do is create, subscribe to that one event, and then they can handle, handle that event and that event's data however they want to. And so that's really powerful. And then that same event can be subscribed by multiple systems. So here we have 2, but you could have X systems. Yeah? So that's really something that you can't underestimate as well, that you don't really need to scale that, because you automatically can say, oh, my reporting tool should know about creation of orders. So you just plug it in. And then the second use case, which I think we'll get there, but at the moment we're probably looking at integrations first, is just using it on the platform itself. So we can subscribe on the platform to events. So that create order event goes on, and then, as I said, like the reporting tool subscribe to it as well, but the reporting tool might be on platform. The billing tool might be on platform, subscribe to it. So there's really like that line of external, internal, not really there, because we think more internal module, external module, not internal Salesforce.com system, external system. Yeah, so the divide is kind of a different one.
And I think this is very important to keep in mind, that we can do this already, and it will come more and more that,
you know, like we will go into that direction of having our architecture wholly on platform events. And then, so this is kind of a forward-looking thing, but it's not so much anymore since Dreamforce. So I was kind of thinking, so what if we think this is a little bit further from a Salesforce point of view? So what if we could subscribe to all the native, you know, the standard platform events? So easy one would be lead conversion. What if that was throw an event and we can subscribe to it and then do stuff off of that? And then also, you know, or with that, what we have now, or what we will have, and now it's in pilot, is this change data capture events. Has anyone heard of that? I guess it was an announcement at Dreamforce, but it wasn't really, you know, like big. So I think it's really, really powerful, and it just means that anytime a field gets changed, this event gets thrown. So you get an event, and then you can subscribe to that. And then now I mean, all of you are developers, I assume, or a lot of you. So that, in my mind, that triggers like, I could do this and this and this and this. And so that's a really, really powerful tool, and that's in pilot at the moment. And what it will enable us to do is, it will enable us to, you know, like really trigger a lot of things, or like subscribe to a lot of events, like this status has changed to this. Yeah, so that's really, really powerful.
and this way we can, you know, like we will have to use platform events less, because we have these native events that come from Salesforce.
And then our platform events, you know, like are for more complex use cases. And then I think so this goes into the direction of an event-sourced platform. And so just to elaborate on that a little bit, event sourcing is when not the application state is important, but the event queue is important. So instead of saving your application state, yeah, you are just creating your application state by the event queue. A very good example for that is Git. Yeah? So in Git, I can just replay all my commits. So if I have 10 commits, I can just replay them, and I get my application state, which is my, you know, like repository. Or for the non-developers, it's an account ledger. Yeah. So you have your balances. You have £100 coming in, £500 coming out, and then you can see I'm minus 400. But that minus 400, the application state, is actually just the result of the sequenced events, which is money going in, money going out. Yeah, and so that way, what you could imagine, for example, is that we can, you know, like replay if you want to debug, for example, you can replay, let's say, from Monday morning, 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. What happened? All the events. And then you debug, you know, you look in the debug logs and you see, oh, actually this went wrong. Yeah, and this is probably far in the future, but I think this is where Salesforce might be heading to, and I hope it is where Salesforce is going to. So now, let's have a look. So we have this bright future, and we use events for everything, but so this is what we want to reach. Yeah, we want the event bus. We have all the different modules on there. Our processes are still changing. If we add something, we just add a new module to the bus. So great, right? Problem is, of course, this is how it looks at the moment. Yeah. So this is today. This is where we want to be. this step is kind of big. And so one of the things that I really like about the platform events is that we can make it in small steps, you know? And so this is really a feature where I would say adopt it now. It's not something like Lightning or Lightning components where I was like, well, let's wait a year and see how it goes. But this one, if we adopt it now, we can adopt it for the new module that you're writing, you know, the new functionality that you're doing. You can integrate it into your system architecture with events. And that way you won't hit any limitations on it. You won't, you know, like run into too much difficulty because you're having this one module, yeah, and you will learn, oh, this is what we can do with events, this is what we can't, this is where events make sense, this is where, you know, like really it's overkill. We don't need to create a platform event for this. And so in this case, we could just take the order management, create that as a module, and then have the create order event, and that's our only event for now. And then we subscribe to that event from all the other different systems. And so we only would have to, you know, like refactor a small amount of our architecture and of our software. So this could be a first step in your system, that just like the new thing that you need to develop, go and do it with platform events, or with platform events in mind. And it really plays well with DX, because now you
only have the order management module, and this is, I think, what Salesforce is also pushing. And with DX, they always talk about, you know, your module
for this feature, you have your module for this feature. And I'm thinking, well, my code base, that does not work out. But it could work out, right? So we have platform events, we can decouple now. And so why not have the order management module as its own code base? And then, as I said, like every one of you, 1 week, you're the expert in order management. Yeah. So it's really easy to pick up, I think, then, and pick up the software, where now it might be really difficult. So let's go slow. Let's take one module at a time. Let's learn really how the platform events behave, how it works out for you, how you can handle them. Let's, you know, come to these events, learn more about them, learn how other people use them. And I guess at the moment, is someone using platform events in production already? Cool. So it's, you know, like it is this new that there are 2 people here that use it. So it really is something where, you know, like we all need to learn. I need to learn about it. And it's just something I think that's very important for the future on the Force.com platform. Thanks. That's me. And